We can look at each other.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't have to be so awkward.
Yes. All right. Hey guys, welcome to episode 1. We have Stacey and Danielle here, and today we are going to talk about the importance of getting moving and prioritizing yourself. Right. So we are busy moms, and we have both found that working out and getting ourselves moving and prioritizing ourselves can sometimes be challenging because the obvious of, feeling like we're spread a little too thin, or we don't have the time, or we're busy with the kids, and bringing them somewhere or working out with them at home can sometimes be really challenging.
Chaos.
Yes, thank you. But I firsthand have noticed that if I do not do those things, if I don't get my body moving, and if I don't prioritize myself and my sanity and my time, that I am not the best version of me, right? So my kids are not receiving the best version of me, my husband, my friends, my family, nobody's getting the best Stacey that I can give if I'm, operating with the tank half empty.
Right.
So for me personally, it is January now, and when I moved here to North Carolina, I came across CrossFit Hickory, and that is the new gym that I signed up at, and I absolutely adore. And in August, my husband and I started going there, and we went pretty much 5 days a week up until the end of November, and then the holidays came around. But we were feeling great. That was probably the best I've felt since college and high school, when I was an athlete and practicing sports every single day. So I felt amazing. My energy was back up. I was not as tired. I felt like my patience were a lot better. I felt a little more clear-headed. I felt really good. And then the holidays came around, and we all kind of caught this little bug. Everybody was sick, and it was just like, just crazy with the holidays and all that stuff. So I took pretty much the entire month off, and I definitely started feeling the effects of that. Like I was, come 2 o'clock, I was tired again. I was ready for a nap, or I needed that second or third cup of coffee, where, normally I only like to do 1 cup of coffee, and I don't want to have too much caffeine. So I definitely was reaching for that second and third cup. I was still tired. My patience would wear thin a lot faster. I was more irritable, so. And not only, starting to see the physical change of like, oh, pants are getting a little tight, too many snacks, obviously that is never good, and that's not a good feeling. But for me, it's more so like the mental side of things. I didn't feel my best. I don't think I was giving anybody my best, and that I really didn't like. So I firsthand, got just very recently got to weigh, hey, this is how I feel when I prioritize myself and I get my body moving every day, and this is how I feel when I just kind of dump all that out the window, right? So what do you feel the same way? How do you feel when it comes to movement?
Yeah, so Nick and I also do CrossFit, and funny, we also go to CrossFit Hickory. So Stacey and I met, as you heard in our trailer, through North Carolina Freedom Keepers chapter, and we had a play date at a park. And then you guys joined, like the following month, I think it was, you joined CrossFit Hickory, and you guys met Nick, and you were like, hey, oh wait, I know you.
Yeah.
You're Danielle's husband. Oh wait, we like you too. And then it formed this like couple relationship, which is also really hard to find. Couples that actually get along, both, everybody gets along.
The guys can hang out, and the girls can hang out. Yeah.
Like right now they're watching our kids.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Shout out. So I don't go to the gym anymore. Sage is my daughter. She's 18 months old, and I was working out, same thing. So we moved here, we joined a different gym, and then that gym closed. So we found CrossFit Hickory, and loved it. We love all the people there. We've created really good friendships there. Nick is still a part of the community, so I get to kind of go to like the events and stuff.
The Christmas parties.
And everyone's like, when are you coming back? And I'm like, well, here's the thing. There's no childcare. What am I going to do with my kid? And all the classes that I like going to were during her nap time. So it was really hard. And it was really hard for me because I worked out, same thing, 5 days a week. We worked out at home. Like, we are very fit, active people.
And you've been worked out through your whole pregnancy.
I worked out through my whole pregnancy, and I had a pandemic pregnancy. And so when I was pregnant, the world shut down. the gym closed, everything closed, so we started working out at home, and then once the gym was able to open back up, I can't remember if I was either just like way super pregnant. I worked out up until like 37 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, okay, I'm like tired and I'm huge and
my feet hurt, my ankles
yeah.
are swollen.
And it was July, so it was really hot and just gross. And so I was like, I'm not doing this. But I had the best pregnancy and I had the best birth experience. That would make a good episode. And I really attribute that to the way that we eat also, but like movement, like moving my body and not being like, I'm pregnant, I don't want to do anything. I didn't let, and I was like, Nick, don't let me be that person. And so then Sage was born, and it was July, so it was really hot, and I had a newborn, and so I was very limited to what I could do. I didn't feel comfortable going back to the gym, just, again, I had a newborn, so her schedule was non-existent. We didn't have a schedule. I breastfeed. So that was like a whole thing that makes working, like that's just, especially when they're little. And then whenever we kind of did develop a routine, we did develop a schedule, class times where like literally every class was during a nap time. And I'm like, I can't, like, what am I supposed to do with her? Like, this just is not going to be able to be a part of my life right now. And it's really hard to work out at home. Number one, by yourself. I don't do well working out by myself. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I've had 5 million other things that I should be doing. So you just like make those excuses. And Sage and Nick has like a crazy work schedule, so I don't always have, you know, that extra pair of hands. So I haven't been back to the gym.
Yeah.
She's 18 months old. I haven't been back to the gym. And it's hard, but it's hard to find something that you can do.
Yeah.
We have some equipment at our house, but our house, we don't have a garage, we don't have a full basement, so it's hard to like set up that gym workout space, or that's something that we would definitely prioritize because we would utilize it, but where we live right now is just not conducive to that, so it's been difficult.
Yeah. And so, you know, that's, you know, we're both kind of in that same boat. Like, she's starting over after having the baby. I'm starting over after, you know, taking an entire month off. And I was brand new to CrossFit. So my CrossFit world and experience literally only consists of August to November. So I'm brand new. So I was in the same boat. I was like, I don't really know if I could do this stuff at home, because what if I'm not doing it right? And how do I do this move? And all this stuff, right? So we could sit here and make all the excuses in the world, which they're, you know, I don't like that word excuse, because it's real stuff. You know,
right.
the naps are real, the being tired is real, like all of the things are real. But at the end of the day, it kind of is an excuse, right? Like it's things that are holding us back from getting moving, right. You know, and you know, my husband, again, so you know, if you're a male listener and this doesn't really apply to you, you know, my husband has his own business, and as amazing as that is, that means some of his work days are long and stressful and hard, and he travels, and you know, so throw, you know, flights into the mix, and you know, hotels and Airbnbs and all the things. It's a lot of excuses, you know, that can hold you back from being your best and feeling your best. So at the end of the day, we really just have to sit down and go like, okay, we have to make this work, because I want to feel my best, I want to be able to give my best. And I know that I only operate from that space when I'm moving my body, you know, every day, but at least 3 to 4 days a week of like really pushing my body and, you know, feeling my muscles moving. And like, I know I'm making that progress, and having that outlet, right, of just kind of like getting it all out and just feeling really, getting a good sweat. And the rest of the days, we chase around kids, right? So we chase around kids all day. So that's definitely movement. But you were doing walking for a while and stuff as well, so that was part of it.
So, like I said, Sage was born in July, so it was we live in North Carolina. It is hot, it is humid, and I tried walking with her, but she was so little. I had her in a Solly wrap. I had her baby wearing Solly wrap, and we would just like going to the park and walking like a mile. There's a park right by my house that has a little walking trail, and I would go with a friend. Her daughter is like 6.5 months older than Sage, so we were like, we'll be stay-at-home mom walking buddies. Like, it'll be great.
Cute.
Yeah, and it was, but I would get done just walking, and just because it was so hot outside, I would unwrap Sage, and like I was sweaty and she was sweaty, and I was just like, this is not fun. So I had to stop for a little bit, and then in October I got a jogging stroller, and she was a little bit less floppy, and I like put her in the jogging. She was way too big for her a little bit still, but I put her in the jogging stroller and I like bundled her up, and she was fine, and we were able to do that, and that was huge. So we've been doing that almost basically every day. We try to get out and walk every day. Now that it's winter, it's a little bit tougher just because of the wind aspect. Like we can bundle them up and they're fine, but on really windy days, like they're miserable. So that has been a little bit tough, but I was like, I have to do something, and if this is the only thing that I can do, then this is what I do. And I take this time and we go outside for like an hour or so, and we have our little loop that we do, and usually we would try to walk at least we do a 5K loop, but if we do a little bit extra, we would walk maybe like 4 miles a day. And I was like, if this is all that I can do, at least I'm outside, which is great. I'm moving my body. I'm doing something, even if I can't be at the gym and it's not what I'm used to, and maybe it's not the same stimulus, at least I'm not just doing nothing.
Did you feel better on the days when you walked versus the days you didn't?
For sure, because like I said, I'm getting outside, so that's an easy thing to do. I was walking with my friends, so it was like social interaction.
Stay-at-home moms, that can be a huge thing too, and that could be another episode, like that loneliness that you feel of, only listening to baby cartoons all day, and baby songs and baby books, and everything is baby, which is so amazing and it's so great, but you need to use full sentences and big girl words, So that's kind of like you had your physical outlet of just at least getting moving. And then you get vitamin D, you're outside, fresh air, but then you also had the conversation with a good friend, which is some mental stimulation. So.
And our girls they pretty consistently stay in the same nap routine. Ada's a little bit older, so she would like drop a nap before Sage would, and then we'd have to try to like configure like when we could walk. But if you're only walking for an hour, I would leave from my house, like I didn't have to drive somewhere, so it's like if I only have a 2-hour window in between breastfeeding, then I can make that work, and I can get that stimulation, the outside stimulation, the adult conversation, just the movement, like getting all those, like checking off some of those boxes that I had been seriously lacking. So that was huge. That's been a big thing, but now it's like, okay, I do this and I do this every day. We've been doing this for over a year. Like now I feel like our schedule's a little bit bigger. Like Sage only does one nap, and she's still nursing, but not as much. So it's like I have a little bit more free time, but still like driving to CrossFit and then not having any like childcare. Which if your kids are older, it's fine. Like they can go and they can play, or there's a TV in like the room that they have set up. But like she's not gonna do that. And so I don't want to be one of those people that like my kid is like screaming or she's like running out, and then I'm not getting a good workout anyways. And then instead of having like a stress release, it is just like causing me more stress and frustration, and like that's just definitely not. That's the opposite of what I want. That's not it.
That all makes sense. And instantly my dog trainer brain kicks in, and I am a huge advocate for dogs need mental stimulation and physical stimulation, right? So a lot of people would be like, oh, I threw my dog in the backyard for 5 hours, or I took my dog on a 10-mile walk every single day, but they're still anxious and crazy and and I'm like, well, you're not challenging them mentally at all, right? Your dog is really bored. Your dog, you now have an athlete, you have a triathlon dog that can walk many miles a day, but is still anxious and a mess and all those things. So we are kind of the same way, and it is super similar when you think about that stuff. So I feel like a lot of the times, like I've never struggled with depression or anything like that, but I do notice like if I'm not moving my body, I'm not getting outside, I just feel tired. Like my symptom, my thing for kind of feeling, I guess maybe down is I get tired. Like I want to take a 2:00 nap, and which some days I can and some days I can't. But I don't want to have, I don't like that feeling. Once that hits where I'm like, ooh, I want to take a nap, that's kind of my cursor. That's like, okay, Stace, you're not feeling your best right now. The fact that, every now and then a nap, feeling tired, that's understandable, but that feeling of just kind of being down, it's like, okay, I need to start getting in a better routine, prioritizing myself a little bit, just kind of reevaluate where I am. And I feel like everybody has that. They have something that will kind of be your indicator of like, hey, little red flag, things aren't right, and for me and for so many people that I know and so many people that I just see, online and in different spaces, movement is so important to daily life. But just as Americans and in this culture, you go to work, you sit at a desk, you come home, it's dark out, you have dinner, you go to bed, and you repeat, and then on the weekends you catch up on laundry and things that you have to do, and binge watch some Netflix, and you go back to sleep, and we wonder why we're overweight, we wonder why we're not healthy, we wonder why we're depressed, and all of these things. And I'm not saying that is going to cure everything, right? But I think that is one thing that everybody can try, right? Before we start jumping on the bandwagon of all these different, programs or medications or anything like that. It's like, hey, have you tried walking? Have you tried yoga? Have you tried a spin class? Have you tried CrossFit? Anything that you're at. Like, I'm not saying everybody has to be a CrossFitter by any means, but you can be a walker. Like, walking is huge. People overlook that so much. Like, you could be 400 pounds, and if you start walking, if you walked every single day for 365 days, next year you are not going to be that big. You are going to be a lot smaller, right? So just getting moving, and also if you have the benefit of being able to add in the mental stimulation of, again, maybe you make friends that way, or you go to, if it's where you go to a gym and you're making friendships and you're having conversations and stuff like that, that's also going to help your mood and just yourself feel better, right? And start feeling more like yourself. I think that's amazing. That's not always the option. Sometimes it's you're doing things by yourself, and that's fine too, but maybe listen to a podcast, right? And that's your mental stimulation. So if you have nobody to work out with and you can't afford to go to a gym, walking's free, right? Podcasts are free. You can find your friends through there. Like, there's so many people in the podcast world that, my husband, just this morning, I'm getting ready and I'm listening to a podcast, and he kind of made a little joke about them. I looked at him, I was like, that's my friend. Like, don't talk about my friend. And I got a little offended. And he was like, oh, sorry, you're friends with her? I'm like, yeah, she doesn't know me, but we're friends. Because, you build relationships and you can have that mental stimulation. So again, that physical stimulation and mental stimulation is super important for a well-balanced life, right? So the reason that we kind of had this podcast topic come up first today, we're struggling. We have a long list of topics that we're so excited to get into with you guys. And so again, some of them are pretty heavy and deep, and some are light and airy and fun. But the reason that we went with this one today is because we decided just, a couple days ago, we're like, you know what? We both want to work out. We love the gym. We love that style of training, but the timing with the children right now and in this season of life isn't always great. And we might be able to go some days, but not a 4 or 5 day a week thing. She's like, well, you have gym equipment and I have gym equipment, and you have a basement, a space where we could do this. Why don't we just start like our own little at-home workout program? I was like, that's an absolutely great idea. I love that. So, and I'm the type of person where I was always on a team. All my sports were team sports. I'm not a single player, and I love working out with somebody else, even if it's just one other person, because if Danielle's like, hey, meet you tomorrow at 4, if I didn't want to work out, or if I was going to cheat that day or take that day off, I am going to show up for Danielle, right? So if I'm not going to show up for myself, I'm going to show up for somebody else, right? So absolutely. That's just something where that's how I'm driven. So keep that in mind too. Like, if you feel like you're slacking off a lot and you feel like, you don't want to do this today, which is most of us on most days, you're not going to be motivated every day. I can tell you that right now. Motivation actually comes from movement and energy. So the more you move, the more motivated you are. Right. But you have to be mentally disciplined enough to get moving and to take that first step for that motivation to kick in. That is how that works. A lot of us sit around and wait to feel motivated. I'm going to work out on the days when I feel good and the days when I feel like
until Monday.
Yeah,
Monday's always a great day.
Monday's always a great day to start, or the new year, or all these things. It's like, no, you have to have self-discipline, and you have to jump in, and you have to do that. Like, even when you do not feel like doing it, you have to do it. When it was cold out, when it was hot out, she didn't want to walk, she didn't want to get out there, but she did. She got moving, right? And that's what we have to do to keep ourselves in a space to where we're prioritizing ourselves and our health and our mental well-being. And I feel like especially in today's world, these last 2 years, we have to do that. Physically, you have to be in the best shape you can be, right? I'm not saying that you need to have to be an athlete, but you should be striving every single day to be healthy, to be fit, to lose weight, to be in a good physical state with everything that's going on in the world, right? If we're going to survive and be healthy and thrive, we have to be the best versions of ourselves. And mentally as well, you know, jobs and all these other things, we, you know, not going to school, not going to work, all this craziness that's going on, that can be really lonely. Like depression rates are up, suicide rates are up, all of these horrible things, and you have to figure out a way to get through that, right? And for me, it's community, friendship, even if that's through the internet, if you don't have somebody in your inner circle, and then the movement side of things, whether that's walking, CrossFit, or anything in between.
And I think it's really important what you said is you don't have to join a gym, you don't have to buy a program, you don't have to do, like, there are so many things that you can do that are free. You can, I mean, I bought my stroller on Facebook Marketplace, and we go outside and we walk, and that's what we do. And sometimes we walk as a family, and sometimes we'll take a dog, and sometimes I'll just go by myself. And I've recently started running, which I'm not a runner, so I have friends, but a couple girls, we have a little group chat, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna run today at 3:30 if you want to join. And it's like, ugh, I don't want to, but okay, all right, you're doing it. So it's like the accountability part of, okay, this is what is gonna, it's not part of my routine, but if I continue to do it, then it's not so hard. And then it does become part of my routine. And then you know, okay, I do the things and I feel better. And then you slack off and you're like, ooh, this is why I do the things, because now I do not feel good and I need to get back into that. So we definitely we definitely fall into that too. I mean, that's exactly where we are right now, is we need to start doing something. Doing something together is helpful. We have similar personalities. We're like, I'm going to hold you accountable, you're going to hold me accountable. So we're actually going to do the things. Maybe you need that. Like, maybe you need to join a gym, because it's like, your accountability is, I spent money on this. So if I don't go, then I'm wasting that money.
Yeah, you're financially invested.
And so there are, but you don't have to. There are a lot of free workouts online, and there's a lot of content out there. But are you going to be able to do that yourself? Maybe you don't have the equipment. Maybe you don't have the motivation. Maybe you don't have the comfortability of knowing that you're doing it correctly, and then you're afraid that you will, be injured or something. But finding whatever's going to work for you, whether it be walking or swimming or a class, Zumba, like whatever. Like you said, it doesn't have to be CrossFit. People are a little bit afraid of CrossFit, which I get, but it's something that I think is very beneficial, and that it's very functional. You can relate like a deadlift is picking something up off of the floor. How many times do you do that every day? And everything can be modified and scaled down. It doesn't have to be like the crazy things that you see on but that can be another podcast too.
All shapes and sizes.
And
it's
ages
not
and
you just walk
everything.
in. It's not you just walk in and everybody is these huge.
Yes.
I mean, there are them, and I'm like, good for you. That's something.
That's not my goal.
I want to be in. I mean, you could dream of that, but that would take me quite a bit. But yeah, all shapes and sizes there.
Yeah, but just finding something that works for you, because then you're more likely to do it and stick with it. But just finding that thing.
Yeah.
And or finding someone to do the thing with, which sounds weird, but
that's true though.
Yeah,
it's true. It's all connected, and again, it's just, you have to prioritize yourself, and that's what it comes down to. That might sound selfish to some people, and that might kind of go into the boundary department that we do have an episode coming out for you guys on, setting healthy boundaries and how to hold yourself accountable to those and others. But if you do not prioritize yourself, you cannot be the best you for others.
Well, it's
right?
like that cliche of you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, I see that everywhere.
It's
but
true.
it's so true. If you are feeling like crap, then your mental health is going to be apparent to everybody else. Like, you can tell if your husband's in a bad mood just by the way that they're acting or the way that they look, and then that you're like, oh crap, like what's going on? Like, are you mad at me? Like, what happened? Are you mad about work? Like, I don't know. Do we talk about it? Do we not talk about it? Do you just need to be like? And
so my socks on the floor again. Somebody's mad about.
And if you're not in a great mood, then you're not going to have the patience for your children or your whoever, your pets or whatever. Like it's going to have this trickle down effect that's going to affect, you know, anything in your life, whether it be big or little. And then if you continue to do that, then it, you know, becomes this bad habit and this really negative thing where even just like we said, as simple as walking, as simple as getting outside and doing something is going to have like a huge positive impact in all these areas, like your mental health, your physical health, like all the things. It's so just something so simple, but you have to make it a priority. You have to prioritize it.
And you have to be disciplined.
Yes.
To follow through with it and not just say you're going to do it.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all that I have on that topic. I don't know about you. But yeah, I just, you know, remember to prioritize yourself and then remember to hold yourself accountable and be disciplined or get an accountability buddy that can help you do that until you can start to do that yourself, until it becomes a habit for yourself. But yeah, we're here to give you permission to prioritize yourself. If you needed permission, if you're a permission-based person, we give you the permission to do that. And you know, we hope that we can hear from you guys and we can hear, you know, what your outlet is, like what makes you feel the best. Are you a walker? Are you a CrossFitter? What do you do? I think we should wrap it up here because we do have to go do our workout. Day 1, Monday, starting it off right. And we will be back in here and check in with you guys again next week.
Yeah, super accomplishing Monday for us.
I'm excited. We're going to go get it. Have a good day, guys.
So distracted because there's a deer out there and I kept looking at it and I was like, oh, there's a deer. It's like in the woods now.
I love it. All right, how do we do this? And let's go work out.